Hello, I'm Lizzie and this is Lizzie Reads, and welcome to New Year, new videos, where I am going for a new me and uploading a video every day for the first week of 2023, all of my yearly wrap-up stats, best of the year and things like that. So it's the 2nd of January. I'm filming these as I go just because I wanted to wait for the year to end to start doing the videos. My Christmas decorations are still up, so don't mind me. We're going for a bit of cosy vibes. We've got the sun blaring in the window, and today we are looking at my 2023 bookish goals. So I'm going to get straight into it, and we're going to start with my Storygraph goal because I use Storygraph rather than Goodreads. And if you watched yesterday's video where I admitted to not reaching my stretch goal of 200 books or even the mini stretch goal of 175 books, which was fine, I'm completely fine with it. I set my Storygraph goal at 200 books. Now, bear with me. So, as I realised at the end of the year, when I wasn't hitting the goal, I didn't really care, and it was fine for me to not hit that goal. I wasn't upset that I didn't hit the goal. I didn't change the goal so that I had the check mark on my Storygraph or things like that. I know some people are like that. That was just not me, I think. When it comes to my reading, I feel like I read a lot and so much, and so many short books as well. Now, I think that I'm going with 200, and the reason being is because I want to read so many books. I've got so many books on my TBR. I'm pretty sure I can read 200 books. I probably would have read 200 books last year had we not moved into the flat and renovated the flat, and I had a really busy December where I read way less than normal for a December. So I think if life is as chilled out as I'm hoping it's going to be this year, then I should definitely be able to read that. Also, I quite like seeing like how far and behind I am on the tracker. Instead of changing it halfway through, I thought I'd just go high, and if I don't make it, I don't make it. What's going to happen? You know, it's not, these aren't no, I just thought it'd be a bit fun, and I'm a bit crazy, so I'm still sticking at a 60,000 page goal because I didn't really know what else to put. So if I read 200 books, I probably will read more than 60,000 pages, but I didn't really know what else to put, so I just put 60,000. I thought I could change it halfway through the year. That one I don't really care about. That one's just there for the sake of being there. Number 3, I kind of alluded to this in my wrap-up video about how I wanted to read a bit more non-fiction and how I've been enjoying reading non-fiction, just not actually getting there. Last year I read 6 non-fiction books, and this year I'd like to read 12, so that's 1 for each month. I think that's really achievable. I'm not necessarily saying I have to read 1 each month. The idea is that on average I read 1 each month. At the moment I'm really in the mood for non-fiction, and I have quite a stacked TBR. I think of about at least 6 non-fiction books I really want to read soon. So what I'll probably do is try and read those like while I'm in the mood for them, and then when the months come that I'm not in the mood for a non-fiction, I don't read a non-fiction. I will be doing a non-fiction TBR coming soon, probably next week, so after the new year, new videos, because they don't quite fit into my current plans, but never say never. But yeah, so you'll hear more about the non-fiction books that I'm really interested in. The type of non-fiction that I tend to read is really like biographies or autobiographies by either people that I'm really interested in or really like. So in January, I am 100% going to be reading Spare by Prince Harry because I am a nosy Parker and I want to know everything that's going on and everything that is being said. Also, I really like reading non-fiction books about sex and female orgasm and female reproductive system. I find that really interesting, and hearing about the things that we're just not sort of told about and things that aren't really talked about in the mainstream media. So yeah, I'm really interested in things like that. So you'll be seeing more of that from me hopefully this year if I stick to my other goals, to be discovered later. Number 4 is also a 12 like type of books, and that is 12 out of my comfort zone books. Now, I did talk about this as well in my wrap up for last year. I read 2 books that I considered to be out of my comfort zone. Now, those books were Babel by R.F. Kuang, which wasn't for me. Really interesting, and it was a really interesting book, and I really liked the message, but I just didn't grasp the pacing and the way it was presented. It wasn't really for me in that respect. But the other was To Be Taught If Not Fortunate by Becky Chambers, which is a sci-fi, but both of these are written, I consider to be written very well, very literary, you know, very beautiful writing and such, which is sort of very out of my comfort zone, but as you can see from the two books that I did read last year, sometimes that works for me, sometimes it doesn't. Also, I used to read so much literary fiction when I was at uni. It was like part and parcel of doing the creative and media writing degree. I read loads of literary fiction. I read so many things that I would think are speculative. Some of my favourite books of all time are literary fiction or speculative or magical realism, but magical realism in the literary sense. So some of those books really I consider to be my favourites and would still think to be my favourites, but I never read anything like that again. And I read primarily romance, I read primarily sometimes fantasy. I've been slipping out of that, but I'm getting back to it. It's still going to be one of my favourites. And I think I've been shying away from books that I consider to be hard reads, and just going for the comfort of romance, and I really enjoyed that. And I still want to do that, but I want to still read these interesting books that I hear other people talk about in my professional life, and from the other side of YouTube that I sort of watch that isn't fantasy or romance. So I'm just trying to just experiment a bit more, try some new things, try some different genres. So for example, if I was to read a horror book, that would 100% count for this, because even though it's not literary fiction, I would be... it's out of my comfort zone. So I'm going to try some different things out of my comfort zone this year, and I have a stacked TBR ready. Absolutely stacked, and another TBR coming for you soon. Number 5 is I want to balance between variety and comfort. This is a very arbitrary, there's no scaling to this, there's no check mark whether it's been done or not. It ties in with some of my other goals. I do want to read more widely this year, but also I still want to read those books that I find comfortable and comforting and enjoyable. So the romances, the fantasies that are really easy for me and I really enjoy. But there's still so much to be said for reading so many different things and trying new things. So that's sort of, it ties into the other two goals, but it also sort of covers a few different things that I've sort of got in my mind about things that I want to try for videos and things like that. So I think that this one is one that I'm just going to have to go based on feeling at the end of the year. Number 6 is a TBR goal. So currently my physical owned TBR is at 105 books. This probably was a few months ago, like 75, and in the last sort of 2 or 3 months I've had so many books come into my life. And I think I am happy to have that many books, that's fine, I've got enough space for them. But I think a lot of the books that are on there are a bit dormant, and I need to sort of move them along because I'm probably not going to read them if I don't read them soon. So I think I'd quite like to get to a sub 75 TBR. I think that's quite reasonable. That's still a lot of books, but a lot of variety for me to choose and allow me to have sort of like all of the books in a series that I'm working my way through. So I am going to be doing a little bit of a book balance, so trying to sort of read more physical books than I bring in a month. I just marked that on my in one of my reading journals, but I will be talking about it briefly in reading wrap-ups. If I can get back into posting reading wrap-up, it's my most favourite video to watch, my least favourite video to film, and I never ever film them, so we'll see. Next we have some YouTube bookish goals, so they still count for me. It's gotten really bright, so I'm really sorry that the lighting's changed again, but it's the best lighting that I have available to me. So I haven't set a subscriber goal or anything. I don't really know how this year's going to go for me in terms of YouTube, but I just really want to make a focus on it because I do really enjoy it. It's just putting my energy and time into it. Sometimes I get a little bit waylaid. So I'm going to repeat a goal from last year, which I unfortunately didn't get round to, and that was 6 to 8 videos per month. on average. So that works out to be just over like a video and a half, or somewhere between 1.5 to 2 videos a week. Obviously I'm going to hopefully smash it already this month, but we shall see. I'm just going to really try and keep a bit more consistent, but not, I want to allow myself some grace to have some time where I'm not super consistent, but on average it works out pretty good over the year. Number 8 is I want to post a minimum of one of my larger projects videos per month. I've been really enjoying sort of doing my Exploring Romance series, my Back to Fantasy series, and then also there's another series that involves reading YA books, YA classic books, which I haven't started yet, and I'd like to work on potentially posting one of those projects at least a month. They take a lot more work than usual than my other books, my other videos, and I tend to want them to do better in terms of like my production of them. So I don't want to say that I'll do too many, but I will do some. I realise the fire is just pointless at this point, but it's fine. So I had to adjust the lighting slightly because the fire is still looking pretty pointless. It's sunnier than expected, so me sitting in front of this window is just being really annoying. But it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. We are going to move on. So at number 9, we have my goal to make time to read 15 minutes of a physical read every day in a relaxing environment. So I find that sometimes I'll go quite a long time without reading physically. I'll be listening to audiobooks, I'll be e-booking, or I'll be reading in a rush. I'll be reading when I've only got 5 minutes. I'll be reading, flying through sort of a couple of chapters just to squeeze in the physical reading. And I would really, really like to be able to take 15 minutes every day to read relaxing, like peacefully. So 15 minutes before I get up, 15 minutes before I go to bed, or 15 minutes in the morning with a coffee in a bath on the balcony, like something nice, relaxing moment, not just hunched in, like 15 minutes, I want it to be sort of like a relaxing process. So that's something I'm working on at the moment. I've already done the first 2 days, so go me. I'm trying to sort of like take a photo and like document it every day on my Instagram stories. I'm very, very active on Instagram stories. Not active on Instagram at the moment, but I'm very active on Instagram stories. So if you would like to see any of that, go follow me on Instagram. It's at LizzieReads_. It's always in the description, but just in case you wanted to follow me on Instagram. 10 is a really big one for me, and that is to host some reading sprints. So being on sprints or doing sprints was one of my goals last year. And I did join some reading sprints with my lovely friends. But this year I'd like to host my own reading sprints. It's more of a confidence thing. If anything, I just wanted to sort of set that intention out there that I'm going to do this year and it's going to be fine and it doesn't matter. It's just a bit scary, I think, thinking about giving it a go. So that's all for my bookish goals. I thought I'd just quickly run you through a couple of my personal goals in case you were interested. One of my personal goals was my biggest goal of last year, and I just thought it's just nice for me to see this next year and tell you if I did it or not. I like to visit 2 countries. I have plans to visit 2 other countries, hopefully, but I'd like to see them into fruition and actually visit 2 countries. Hopefully I'm going to go to Wales, and then we're looking at going to a like beachy holiday, probably somewhere like Lanzarote or Malta or Rhodes. They're really random places, but like they don't have any correlation together, but they were just places that came up when I was looking at the dates that we want to go, where I'm going to do lots of reading and relaxing. I also want to get up to date with my scrapbooks, because I'm really, really far behind on my scrapbooks, and I just thought I'd add that in here because I can beat myself up about it this time next year if I haven't done it. And also I'd like to watch 52 new films, so I'll be logging my films on Letterboxd. We'll see how we get on. But yeah, I've got a few other like step goals and things like that, but they're like a bit boring. You don't want to see those. So yes, thank you so much for listening to my 10 bookish goals and my 3 extra personal goals. just silly little ones that I'm going to try to look for. I'm going to be logging some of the more specific goals in my reading spreadsheets, so I'll give you little updates throughout the month, and hopefully I can redo a mid-year sort of check-in, and I might do this again, maybe do a week's worth of videos all together in the middle of the year. I'll let you know. We'll see. I'm not going to make any promises because promises is where I definitely go wrong. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'm going to have my coffee now and relax. Speak to you again soon. Goodbye.